You should assume that you are a bad listener. Here's why. If you assume that you're a bad listener, then that will make you work on being a listener. One of the things that I see happen all the time in marriages and families and workplaces in a variety of contexts is people assume they're good listeners, but then they hear what people aren't saying. They don't hear what's behind what people are saying, and they miss the fact that they're misinterpreting or jumping to conclusions or connecting dots that aren't there when they hear people speak. In contrast, what I think a good practice is in our marriages, households, families, workplaces, other things like that, is that if my self-talk is like this, I assume you're a bad listener, then what I do is I'm being hyper attentive. Now I'm working on listening. I'm not just kind of passively listening. Your eardrums being activated and sending signals to your brain, just like the literal physical act of hearing, is different than being someone who is attentive, tuned in, paying attention. And so if I'm working on listening, then I'm really trying to hear what people are saying, then that actually creates the ability where I start to hear tension in what they say and I ask clarifying questions. I follow up. I ask the next question. I do think being able to ask the next question is one of the main skills that actually makes someone a good listener, because a lot of times the quality of what someone's saying is determined by the quality of the questions that I ask. Now, when I find myself being hyper attentive and really trying to draw people out to ask the next question, we recognize that we start to find places where we aren't sure what to say. It feels awkward. We don't know what to do next. And so there's a moment of silence, moment of pause. And that quietness, that actually space in between what's going on, is one of the best ways to actually become a good listener, to embrace that silence. It's actually one of the FBI's interrogation techniques is silence. When someone says something and you're not sure what to ask next, you just say nothing. And oftentimes they'll elaborate on what they just said and give you the information you're looking for in the first place. Instead, sometimes we feel awkward. We feel the need to respond or to add our own story or to ask a question that's maybe dumb or irrelevant. And so embracing the fact that you're a poor listener, embracing the fact that silence is good, and recognizing that those kind of awkward moments of silence are okay and they don't need to be awkward. It's only awkward if you make it awkward. It's only weird if you make it weird. And so growing as a listener, growing as a question asker is one of the ways that people feel connected to us. It's one of the ways we connect with other people. And it's actually one of the ways we discover the solutions to problems that otherwise feel crippling and exhausting. This is where the Hebrew word for hear comes in. Like when Jesus through Moses in the book of Deuteronomy says, "Hear, O Israel, the Lord is one." That word there is the word Shema. It doesn't mean just let your eardrums be activated. What it means is listen, comprehend, understand, and heed. Heed what you're spoken to. That's when someone's really hearing the Lord, is not when they just hear his voice physically, but when they understand, internalize, and then heed or respect the word that was spoken. And so we don't just want to hear people. We don't just want to listen to people. We want to heed people and understand them in a deeper and more meaningful way. And I think that most people would immediately become better listeners if they just assumed they're bad listeners and acted accordingly.